the first two invest in the ratio of 2 to 3, and the third person invests twice as much as the other two combined. Okay, so we've got 2 to 3, and then we've got some third person, which is twice as much as the other two. Well, the other two are 2 plus 3, which is 5. And the third investor is twice as much as that, so 2 times 5, which is 10. Okay, so this is the other two, and this is the twice as much as that. Okay, so these are the ratios, 2 to 3 to 10. Total is 30 million. Okay. We want to know how much did the major investor contribute. Well, the major investor is the one that contributed the most, so the 10. Well, remember with the ratios, add x to each of those numbers, so 2x, 3x, and 10x, and then add them together to equal the total of the business, 30 million. So far, okay? So that's 15 right there. That's right here. Total is 30 million. So 15, when you add all the investors together, all three of them, one's got 2 parts, one's got 3 parts, one's got 10 parts, so there's 15 parts altogether. So divide both sides by 15, and x is going to be 2 million. So this is one part of the business that's worth 2 million. We want to know how much did the major investor contribute. The major investor contributed 10 pieces. So 10x. So I'm going to do 10 times 2 million. So far, okay? Now the next question asks, does the major investor own more than half of the business? Well, the business has 15 parts, right? Because we have the ratio gave us 15. And the major guy owns 10. We want to know if he owns more than half of the business. Well, what's half of 15? Half of 15 is 7.5. So the major investor owns 10, which is more than 7.5. So yes, owns more than half. And then finally, we want to know which fraction of the business does the investor own. You always want to do the part over the whole on that. Well, the major investor owns 10 parts, and the whole business is 15 parts. So he owns 10 out of 15 pieces, and then I can reduce that because those both divide by 5. So he owns 2/3 of the business. Interpret a table like this. Okay, sales in the hundreds means you multiply times 100 each of these numbers, because that's a group of 100 stock, and that'll give you the total volume. Okay. The high and the low is for the day. The last is yesterday's close. No, sorry, today's close. Because it's posted at the end of the trading day. The change is from yesterday. And this is the 52-week high or 52-week low, so you go back a year. So we look at these questions. What is the difference between the 52-week high and the 52-week low for one price of PetroChina? Find PetroChina. 52-week high, 52-week low. Difference means to subtract. So 266.81 minus 112.11. The difference between the day's high and low prices for McDonald's. We find McDonald's and we're in the day column, so we're over here. So 58.77 and 57.42. So that's $1.35.
What did I do? I'm at 63.69 minus 46.64.
You did the 52-week high and low. You were just in the wrong columns. So be careful of that though, that you're in the right column. Okay, on the next page.
Page 14, because
yeah, that's on the next page. You're talking volume, right? So sales of the hundreds gives me the volumes.
Could you go back to the
Yeah.
I don't have the last one. Okay.
So volume is how many sales. These are sales of 100. So you take whatever number's here and you multiply it by 100. So Berkshire Hathaway is 4.11. So 4.11 times 100. McDonald's is 106,077.
I got 1,060,770. So I'm doing that one right?
Hold on. 106,07700. 10 million. Texas Instruments, 288,012 times 100 gives me 288,01200 to 28 million. Sorry.
I got my comments in the right place because I got 2,880,000.
Did you put 2 zeros on the end?
I have 2880120.
You multiplied by 10. If you only added 1 0 to the end, you multiplied by 10.
So I need to watch the one.
Yeah, be real careful with that. Westpac Banking is 332.7. So that's going to be 33270 because when I multiply by 100, this moves over 1 and then I add a 0. Okay. All right, determine the closing price on April 21st. Well, we have to look at, we're on April 22nd. We compare the last and the change. That will give me the closing price. So for Texas Instruments, the last is $28.85 minus the change, which was negative $1.74. Okay, that makes that positive. And I don't think I've shown you guys this yet. But see how it's a happy person? So that's positive. So it's 2885 plus 174. Okay, if you can't remember the minus the change and to change the signs, you always do the opposite of what's here. So if this is negative, add to the last. If this is positive, subtract from the last. So you want to do the opposite of this change. So for this one, we had gone down $1.74. So yesterday it was $30.59. Freeport, McMoran, and copper and gold. The last was 118.65 and the change was 351. So I subtract that. And we went up today, so yesterday it was lower, it was 115.14. Yeah, this is yesterday's close. Okay, now to do the percent net change. Yeah. For 16, we're going to do the net change from April 21st to April 22nd. So percent change is the new minus old divided by the old. The old will be April 21st. The new will be April 22nd. So here's April 22nd. Here's April 21st. So for A, I'm going to do April 22nd minus April 21st divided by April 21st. I get my change back. Divide it by 30.59 and I get negative 0.056881 and a whole bunch of other stuff. Move 2 places over, negative 5.7%. For B, new, old, divided by old. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have that on the screen for you guys to see. So that's going to be 351 divided by 115.14. Move 2 places, 3.0%. We're going to use that chart to answer questions 20 through 29. Okay. So question 20 is, on which date did the stock close at a higher price than it opened? Open is on this side, close is on this side. So as you go, you read across the paper, you go in to the open and out the close. And we want to find the close to be higher than the open. Here's open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. And then open, close again. So the only day that the close was higher was on May 1st. Okay. The next question asks us on what were the days opening prices on the following days, and basically it's every day. So 428, 429, 430, 5-1, and 5-2. And we want to find the opening. Now, if I look at this, I open here. This one is easy because it's right on the line, so that's 690. But this, oh wait, that one's also on the line. Okay. I mean, it's like just under the line, but it's close enough. I'm just going to go ahead and say 680. Now, 430, I'm in between. Here's 65 and here's 70. 65, 70, I'm going to say, what do you think, 66?
I put 67. That would be right.
It's a little closer to 65 than it is to 70. But it's, I mean, you're guessing. You don't know exactly. So probably a lot of people don't like to write $666 anyway, so we'll go ahead and go with that. On the first, we can go ahead and say 650. And then on the second, the line, it's hard to see, but it's right there. So 660. Number 22 asks, what is the day's high price on April 29th? Now the little bars off to the side are the open and close. The top is the high and the bottom is the low. So on April 29th, our high was 680. Number 23 asks us for the day's low on May 1st. On May 1st, our low was down here at the bottom, so 650. And then 24 asks us for the close on May 2nd. May 2nd, the close is right here. I'm going to go ahead and say 654. If you put 653, huh? Yeah, as long as you don't say 650 and you don't say 655 and you don't say 670, you have to be between 650 and 655. But we don't know the exact number, so it's a guess. So you could say 653, 652. Yeah, you're as long as you're in that general area, you're okay. All right, 25. We want to know the approximate net change from April 29th to April 30th. All right. Okay, so we need to know the close on the 29th and the close on the 30th. Okay. That's how we figure out the net change. Not 530, sorry, 430. Well, we already wrote down, no, we wrote the opening, sorry. So the close on the 29th is 665. The close on the 30th is 655. Okay, so the change is 655 minus 665, which is negative $10. We went down $10. And the percent change is going to be 655 minus 665 divided by 665. So that's negative 10 divided by 665. So 1.5%, and it's negative. Okay. 26 is exactly the same, so I'm not going to do it. 27 asks us how many shares were traded on April 30th. Well, the volume's down here. These are thousands. So you have 0,000, 20,000, 40,000, 60,000. April 30th, we're at 40,000. Okay, for number 28, it wants to know how many fewer shares were traded on April 28th than on May 2nd. So here's April 28th. Here's May 2nd. 428 is about 20,000. May 2nd is about, what do you think, 50? Okay, 50,000. So fewer. I'm going to do the 50,000 minus the 20,000. So 30,000 fewer shares. We had this candlestick chart, black and white. So white is good. So these days it closed higher, and these days it closed lower. Okay, and we want to look at the question number 30, had several parts. A, on which days were the opening prices higher than the closing? That's the two bad days. So 428 and 530. No, sorry, 430. B, which days were the closing prices higher than the opening? So the close being higher is good, so those are the three white days. So 27th, 29th, and the 1st. C is what is the approximate closing price on April 28th? So here's 28th, it's black, so the close is the bottom one. So we're just below 32.50. So I'm just going to say about 32.48 or something like that. Again, if you said 32.50, it's almost on the line. I wouldn't really count off for that as long as you're in the general range of, this would be 32.25, this line. So you'd have to be between 25 and 50. D, what is the approximate high price on May 1st? May 1st, the high and the low are the sticks. We're right above 33.50, so 33.52 or something. Something that would tell you you're just above 33.50, and if you go about the same distance up, this would be 33.75-ish up here, so something between those two. E, what is the difference between the lowest price and the highest price recorded for this time period? The lowest price is going to be the very bottom candlestick, which is down here, which is below $32. So here's 31.75. Here's 32, so 31, I don't know, 85? It's like halfway-ish, I don't know. So I'll just say 31.85 is the low. And then we already did the highest, which was this day, 33.52. Or something like that. So it's going to be somewhere around $1.60 something or $1.70, depending on what you estimated these two numbers to be. It's not going to give you an exact answer on this one. F asks you what the very short line at the bottom of the May 1st candlestick indicated, and that was the low was just below the open, because it's very close, it's very tiny. And then G, on which consecutive days was the closing price of the first day higher than the opening price of the second day? Well, here's our close and here's our open, so that doesn't work. Here's our close and here's our open. So the closing price here was higher than the opening price here. Does that make sense? So from 428 to 429. Here's our close. Here's our open. That didn't happen there. And then here's our close. Here's our open. That might be higher, or it might be the exact same price. But I'm just going to go ahead and put it down anyway because it's close. We're trying to find the 3-day SMAs for these. So we take the first 3 days to find the average, and it'll go here. So I do 778 plus 808 plus 799 divided by 3. That goes right there. For the next set, I take these 3 and it goes right here. So that's 808, 799, and 802 divided by 3. And that's 803. And then I do these 3. Nope. Ignore the yellow for a second. Let's go with purple. I do these 3, and that goes right there. So 799, 802, and 789 divided by 3. Then the yellow. That gives me 821. This is yellow. Okay. So each time I'm moving down 1, and I put the answer at the third number. So when I come down here, I'm going to do these 3 and put the answer right here. So this will be red again. Those 3. So 7.89 plus 8.72 plus 9.19 divided by 3. And then move down 1. So there's 8.72 plus 9.19 plus 9.16 divided by 3. Then I move down 1, and it's these 3. 9.19 plus 9.16 plus 8.98 divided by 3. Oops, I forgot to divide by 3. Oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay, I did divide by 3, but I divided by 3 on the last number instead of actually adding first. How I caught that mistake, by the way, is that when I did divide that 21, whatever I was getting by 3, it gave me some 7 something, which I'm in 8s and 9s. There's no way I'll get an average of a 7 out of 8s and 9s. And then finally the last group here. Now, if I'm doing a 10-day SMA, which you will do on the test, okay, well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers to do the 10-day SMA. So I add the 10 numbers together, and it goes here on the bottom of the list of 10. So I'm going to show you a 10-day SMA. I'm just going to add some, so this was number 32 right here, but I'm going to add to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some more numbers on here. Just to give us something to do. Okay. So on the test, you're going to have a 3-day and a 10-day on the same chart. Okay, and it'll be kind of like this, only not as sloppy. So here are my 3 days, so I just need to keep moving down one and get the rest of these numbers. So I did these 3 to get that one, so I'm going to do these 3 to get this one. So 898, 938, 948 divided by 3. Then I do these 3 to get this one. So 938, 948, 876 divided by 3. And then these 3 to get this one. And then the last 3 to get that one. Okay, so when I do the 10-day, I'm going to take all 10 of these, add them together and divide by 10, and that answer goes right there. Okay, then I'm going to shift down 1 and add all those together and divide by 10. Or you can use the other method, which is to subtract the first number from the total you got when you added all these together. So I'm going to subtract that 778, and then I'm going to add in the 948, and then divide by 10. You can use either method that you want. Just know that you're moving down 1 each time. So now I'm going to be doing these 10 from 799 to 876. Then I move down again. So I'm here, 8.02 to 8.99. Divide that by 10. And then I move down to the last group. And divide it by 10. Okay, so on your 10-day average, all of these first 10 blocks, or 9 blocks, are going to be blank. You only have these to fill in. And on your 3-day average, the first 2 are blank, and then you fill in the rest. Okay. If I'm looking at this stock ticker right here, this tells me Home Depot sold 32.3 million shares at $29.13 each, which was up $1.13 from yesterday. And then Sprint sold 1.1 thousand, so 1,100 shares at $9.14 each, which was down 78 cents from yesterday. And then Verizon sold 3,320 shares at $38.77 each, which was up $2.27 from yesterday. And then finally we have Exxon sold 660 shares at $92.67 each, which was down $1.58 from yesterday.
I'm sorry, what was
32.3 million shares.
2.3 million?
That's that 32.3 M right there. M for million, K for thousand. B for billion, but that doesn't show up very often. At $29.13, up $1.13 from yesterday. The total value of the trade would be the number of shares times the price. So the total value of that Home Depot trade so we have 32.3 million. That's that number right there at $29.13 each. So the value of that trade right there was $940,899,000. So somebody had a lot of money. Okay. Years ago for $34.50 a share, and he sold them for $38.64. So we want to know a percent increase per share. Okay, so let me write this down. Okay, they were bought at $34.50, sold at $38.64, and there are 600 shares. Okay, that's all of the information that we need from that problem. Okay. For A, we want to know percent increase on one share. Right, so percent increase is going to be new minus old divided by old. New, 38.64. Old, 34.50. $38.64 minus $34.50 divided by $34.50. It's 0.12, so 12%. Okay, for B, we want to know what is the total purchase price for the shares. Well, he bought 600 shares at $34.50 each. So I'm going to do 600 times $34.50. So he spent $20,700. For C, we want to know what the selling total was. Still 600 shares, except he sold them for $38.64. So we got 23,184. D asks us what is the percent capital gain. Again, new minus old divided by old. And on just a little side note, it's not part of the problem, but the monetary capital gain would be 23,184 minus 2,700. But back to the percent capital gain. New minus old divided by old. 12%. Your individual price, your individual stock gain or loss will be the same as your gross capital gain or loss if you sell every share. If you sell like half or something, it's not the same anymore. Because you hadn't gained or lost anything on those ones you didn't sell yet. So it changes it a little bit. Any questions about capital gain, percent or dollar version? All right, so this is the fee schedule. You have online trades, automated telephone trades, and live broker. So this is if you talk to a live person on the phone, okay? And then you have if you make less than 100 trades per year or 100 or more trades per year. Okay? So A asks if Carlos makes 3 dozen trades. Oh, sorry, 3 dozen online trades. What are his total broker fees? Well, first we need to know that 3 dozen is 3 times 12, so that's 36 trades. Okay. That's less than 100. And we're talking about online trades, so $17 each. So 36 times 17. $612. B, what is the cost of 99 online trades? That's 99 times 17. And C asks where the trade is for 120. Well, it says $17 per trade for the first 100 and then 14 after that. So you've got 100 times $17 and 20 of them times $14. So 1980. Okay. Okay, so we've got 200 shares of stock that were purchased, flat fee of 30. Sold stock this morning for $21 per share, 0.5% commission. Okay, net proceeds. Okay, net proceeds are the sale price minus the purchase price minus the fee that you paid when you bought it minus the fee you paid when you sell it. Okay, so our sale price is 200 times $21 each. That's what he sold. He sold his 200 shares at $21 a share. And his purchase price is 200 shares that he bought when they were $18.12. When he bought them, he paid a flat fee of $30. When he sold them, he paid a 0.5% commission. I have to turn that into a decimal first, so I move 2 places this way. So that's 0.005. And that is 0.005 of whatever this sale price is. 200 times 21. Okay, so I did 0.005 times 4,200, and that gave me 21. So then I subtract 4,200 minus 3624 minus 30 minus 21, and I get $525. That's his net proceeds. Now his capital gain is just the sale minus the purchase. Doesn't take into account the fees. So I do 4,200 minus 3624. $576. So your capital gain makes you look like you earned more than you actually did. If we look at, say, number 74, we have this table, and it goes over to the other side, and we want to find the yield. Sorry, this is annual dividend. Annual dividend divided by price per share. And then convert to a percent. So I'm going to do $2 divided by 76.90. I convert that to a percent, and I get 2.6% yield. Here I'm going to do 68 cents divided by 41.57. That's a 1.6% yield. 72 cents divided by 46.15 gives me a 1.6% yield. And then you do that through the whole chart. So yield is annual dividend divided by price per share.